Welcome back. On Monday, St. Lucia recorded its first homicide for 2021. The shooting that left a father dead and his son seriously injured came on the heels of the season of goodwill that celebrated the birth of Christ. Against this backdrop, the Archdeacon of the Anglican Church is speaking out about crime and violence, calling on various government and non-governmental organizations to join the fight against crime.
Only 4 days into the new year, and St. Lucia has recorded its first homicide. A shooting on Monday left one man dead and another in critical condition. Many have criticized the religious community, claiming that there seems to be deafening silence on social matters such as crime and violence. On Wednesday, Anglican priest Christian Glasgow told Hot 7 that the church is in fact playing its part.
The church has a way of acting, doing things because it is the right thing to do, and not necessarily bring it into the purview of the public to have kudos. And so if you take time to look around this St. Lucian society, you see the church in a variety of ways is seeking to meet the physical and social needs along with the spiritual needs of our St. Lucian society. A variety of activities, but they do not always shout about them.
He says what is needed is collaboration from all units of society.
If there's going to be any serious approach to this crime and violence issue, I believe there are several steps that must be taken. First of all parties concerned, whether it is an NGO, the community, individuals, government, we need to have a serious sit down and have a consultation, brainstorming to get a broad picture of what the issue really is. I think the next step beyond there is for all of us to commit ourselves to the task of eradicating whatever the several issues are that create the type of atmosphere that leads to the crime and violence.
Glasgow says once the collaboration is achieved, then the need to re-educate and re-socialize will be effectively tackled.
Then we begin to have a fair understanding of, first of all, what fosters the crime and violence. Secondly, understanding of how to remove such elements that create the need for the crime and violence, and begin to put in place the things that can offer an alternative to a life of crime and violence. That, to my mind, has to be our approach in 2021 and beyond.
He says in addition to this, people need to learn to respect and appreciate life. Reporting for Hot 7 News, I am Janine Gonzalez.
The tourism industry will continue to face massive hurdles across the globe in 2021. So says Tourism Minister Dominic Fedee.
Continued lockdowns across the United Kingdom have had a significant impact on tourist arrivals into St. Lucia in December 2020. So says Tourism Minister Dominic Fedee as he spoke on the industry performance at a press conference on Wednesday. Fedee did reveal that the last week in December of 2020 saw similar numbers as compared to the same period in 2019, but this in no way speaks for the month as a whole.
The lockdowns have had significant impact on the momentum which we had in December. So, for example, we had about 10,000 people coming to our shores during the month of December. In comparison to December 2019, that would represent about 25% of where we were, December being one of the busiest months for tourist arrivals. And I think that a lot of hotels had a very good last week of the year. Boxing Day arrivals registered over 1,000 people, which really went back close to the levels of arrivals that we would have had pre-COVID-19. So there was some flashes of brilliance, but the environment doesn't lend itself to being conducive for people to be able to travel in the volumes that they have over that period.
Developments in the United States are also expected to pose challenges for tourism this year.
There is a prevailing increase in the number of COVID-19 cases and the number of hospitalizations, as well as the stress on the healthcare sector within the United States, is also going to pose significant challenges on the ability of people to be able to travel. A new development now we're seeing is that a number of states are already requiring people to test on the way back, and that did not happen in the earlier stages of our reopening. But this is going to pose a new challenge. It is going to, no doubt, be an impediment for people to be able to travel.
Fede says that St. Lucia will continue to employ innovative marketing techniques to see how best travelers can be encouraged to visit the island. The slow pace of the rollout of vaccines in Europe and the United States are more impediments to travel in 2021. For the Hot 7 News, Nisha Charles reporting.
The news of the death of iconic Jamaican businessman and hotelier Gordon Butch Stewart continues to resonate throughout the Caribbean region and the wider world. Regional leaders and tourism industry partners are hailing Stewart's contribution to the development of Caribbean countries by the way of founding the leading all-inclusive hotel chain Sandals. St. Lucia's Tourism Minister Dominic Fede says the establishment and success of Sandals was no small feat. In 1981, Stewart took the money he had made selling air conditioning units in Jamaica and invested it in developing a hotel on the island's north coast into Sandals Montego Bay, which would become the flagship resort of a chain of luxury vacation destinations. Sandals now operates 15 resorts, including 6 in Stewart's native Jamaica.
His contribution is the single largest contribution to the St. Lucian tourism industry. And no doubt his homeland Jamaica has produced a legend, and the world has seen Caribbean tourism in a way that Mr. Stewart has made such a significant difference. And you know, I'm always very proud whenever I travel in global forums and I see that a homegrown Caribbean company is the world's leading all-inclusive company. It's a source of inspiration for me, and it tells us what we can do in these islands if we believe.
St. Lucia's Prime Minister Alan Chastanet had formed a close relationship with the iconic businessman. He credits him with helping to bring Jamaican businesses to many OECS countries.
I can tell you that's not true. They worked together, and Mrs. Stewart was really that person that brought that together. I can tell you when I went first to Jamaica in 1990, not many people knew where St. Lucia was, and certainly not the Eastern Caribbean, even though Jamaica was part of Caricom. And I think Mrs. Stewart did a lot to introduce Jamaica to this part of the world, and got many more Jamaican business people to come down and invest in this part of the world. But I think that I can say to Jamaicans, thank you. Thank you for once again sharing an incredible, iconic person, a person that's bigger than life. And we all share our deepest sympathies with all of you for this incredible loss.
Butch Stewart also founded the Jamaica Observer newspaper in 1993. He has been bestowed with a number of Jamaica's highest honors over the years, including the Order of Jamaica and Commander of the Order of Distinction. He was presented with a number of honorary degrees, including one from the University of the West Indies. This is the Hot 7 TV Nightly News. When we return, the latest weather forecast.